Well, clearly we want to be on that boat when Jesus gets up and rebukes the wind and the waves. And it's oftentimes in the New Testament Jesus rebukes evil spirits. It's kind of, he addresses powers that frighten us. We run away, we hide, we're afraid. But Jesus speaks. I want to talk a little bit about something that's probably in the back of a lot of our minds this time with the virus, and that is death. People are afraid that their parents or their friends, their neighbors, people who are already a little bit ill, aren't going to make it. They get this virus. In a sense, the fear makes them silent. They never talk about the possibility that one or another of us might catch it and not make it out. And so what we do is we conceal from ourselves the fears that we have. We need to speak. My brothers and I are doing a little exercise during this period when we're sort of isolated socially. We decided to do a family genealogy and fill in a lot of lost stories of people, uncles, aunts, cousins, people whose names we know but nothing about them. And I was astonished when I started to do this and look up obituaries of former members of our family who have passed on, and saw obituaries this big. They gave virtually nothing. And I said to my brothers, you know, you live a whole life and you get this much in the public news at the end. And I told them, I said, write your own obituary now. Write it now. Don't leave it up to the moment that something bad happens. We tend to do that because we're afraid, but we should write it now, and it brings into our own time what mattered to us, what counted. Of course, for the moment when death arrives and we all pray its way off into the future, it may not be as long as what you write, but what you write will give your family great consolation at the moment when you pass from a speaking human being into God's mystery. You've had your say. You put it down in black and white. You've spoken to the winds in the sea. Think about it. It's an important time for us not just to be watching the news on television or hearing the latest developments in Maryland or Baltimore or Hunt Valley or wherever, but to be sitting down with a piece of paper and saying, when my time comes, what do I want to be in the paper? What do I want to be said? And it will be a great consolation to you, and certainly to the older members of our parish who have children, that Mommy and Daddy have taken precautions to make our sorrow easier to bear. It's an important moment, not just to pray for the health of the country, for St. Anthony Fauci, that little doctor with that wonderful accent from New York, who comes on and calms us all because he seems to understand. He seems to get it. Let's pray for him and all our doctors and nurses, the heroes we see out there taking care of people who are gravely ill. I just read last night, 400 doctors and nurses in our country have died since the virus began. 400. It's really astonishing. We should be praying for them and praying for our country, praying for each other. And I hope from a distance where you are at home, you're praying for Father Frank, and for me, and for all the parish staff who are keeping alive in this daily Mass the Spirit of Christ. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.